Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Rosen Rubini podcast, Making Sense of This World. My name is Manas Chavla, and as always, I'm really pleased to be joined by CEO and Head of Research, Brunella Rosa. This week, we're discussing the tech takeover. The Musk-Thiel presidency is about to begin. There's many facets to discuss when it comes to the new Trump administration. But one thing that we've learned is that personnel is indeed policy. And when we look at the personnel, Brunello, and the sort of senior appointments that Donald Trump has made so far to various positions in his cabinet, what stands out to you, and how qualified are some of these people?
So, as you correctly pointed out, it's more than the political line. Sometimes it's the personalities that matter. So we started this discussion last week among some of the most controversial appointments, and one of them has in fact fallen through. So Matt Gaetz had to withdraw from the race to become Attorney General, even. The investigation on his account. It was substituted by Pam Bondi, which will probably pursue a very similar policy, to be honest, which is effectively helping Trump getting rid of his trials. But I would say with less of a political baggage. But, people are kind of breathing the air that is now uh, in Washington, and so even without being sacked, they decide to resign themselves. Jack Smith, for example, the special counsel on a number of investigations, decided to um, um, resign. The other one, the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, did the same and actually said he would resign exactly on the inauguration day on the 20th of January. We know that Trump is a big supporter of crypto, while Gensler has been one of the people instrumental in implementing some of the regulation on crypto. So the two people were clearly at odds and carry on for much longer.
Yeah. And then, we come as well to the many appointments that Trump is making that are influenced by Elon Musk. I mean, first of these is the Treasury Secretary. What's happened here?
So in that one, Scott Bessent was chosen instead of Howard Lutnick. Lutnick got the position of Secretary to Commerce, so to some extent in charge of the tariffs dossier, which is very important, as we know. But the Treasury Secretary is at two or three notches above that in terms of importance, and Scott Bessent won the race. So Bessent has worked at the Soros Management Fund for a few years, so it's considered to be, an expert in markets, somebody that is a safe pair of hands, reliable, and for that reason, Musk didn't like it. Thought it was too much mainstream, too much continuity with the past. So, in choosing Bessent, at least for change, Trump decided not to follow Musk, who explicitly endorsed Lutnick, and went for something less controversial.
And then when we look at sort of taking a step back, the broader influence of Musk and Thiel, what do you see here there? Musk in particular has been in charge of making this new formed institution, the Department of Government Efficiency, which isn't a real government department as we understand it. In that way, and in what other ways are Musk and Thiel shaping the Trump administration?
So, with the appointment of Scott Bessent, people thought that for the first time Musk was somehow defeated in his new position as president. Um, but in reality, there are still many dossiers which has huge influence. For example, on SpaceX and Starlink, that clearly require government approval. It relied on a number of matters, considering there's lots of national security. They still exert massive influence, and actually seems that he wants to invest some of his own personnel on his own conference in Pronesa. And so that would be, a bit of a, in my opinion, interference in the middle of a massive conflict of interest. Um, but I would say that more in general, the key point here is what's really going on, because what we want to say in this column and therefore in this podcast is that, in our opinion, there has been a sort of tech takeover, right? Let's step back for a second. Elon Musk is considered a sort of co-president, and as we know, he has massively helped Trump to his electoral campaign, 45 million a month of financing. People say that overall, at least 200 million have actually reached uh, um, Trump's coffers. So, Musk was clearly instrumental in having Trump elected, especially after Biden and X, Twitter, then X, from which Trump was banned. So clearly, Musk exerted a massive influence on Trump. What about the vice president? Well, it's well known that the key um, supporter of the ascent of J.D. Vance has been Peter Thiel, which has been a buddy of, I would say, of Musk in several enterprises, first and foremost in PayPal, before going and founding Palantir, which again is in bed with the intelligence services of the US very much. So are we talking here about a Trump J.D. Vance presidency, or are we talking here about Musk Thiel presidency? It's a bit of a provocative question, but I think it's the right one to ask at this point.
And it seems like, these aren't happening in a vacuum. They come in a much broader historical trend where corporations are exerting more and more influence and power in politics. You obviously have things like the Sherman Act of 1819, the emergence of various other antitrust laws to prevent exactly that from happening. But, almost as a natural phenomena, they reoccur in different forms. And you quote Mark Twain at the end of your views letter, Brunello. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. Brunello, as always, thank you so much for your time and insight.
Thank you very much. Until next time.